Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gaccantu Devatam Sandhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadam Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhansa Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhansa Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhansa Sambe Sankara Anicchati Yada Panyaya Pansati Atanimbindati Dukkhe Esa Maggo Visuddhiyam Sambe Sankara Dukkhati Yada Panyaya Passati Atanimbindati Dukkhe Esa Maggo Visuddhiyam Sambe Dhamma Anantati Yada Panyaya Pansati Atanimbindati Dukkhe Esa Maggo Visuddhiyam. Okay, dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to start our weekly Dhamma program, Dhamma discussion. Today I am going to explain you the very important topic in Buddhism. In Buddha's language it says Trilakkana, the three characteristics. They are impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and egolessness or non-self. These are the major things which relate to everything in our life. This is the reality of our life. When we practice Buddha's message, little by little, we are going to understand about these three things. If we know that everything is impermanent, if we know everything is unsatisfactoriness, if we have good awareness that everything is egolessness or not non-self, we have no big attachment, we have no anger, always we are friendly, always we are generous. Little by little, when we practice Buddha's message, then this understanding is going to be permanent. Although everything is impermanent, our understanding is going to be permanent. That is the very important thing. If we can reflect on these three things during the day, more time, it means we are successful because we have overcome suffering. We mostly suffer because we think everything is permanent. Everything we can control. That is the misunderstanding, misconception that we have. If we can correct this misunderstanding, we are ready to face the reality in the world. And our body always change, our mind also change, and when we get some kind of experience through our senses, that experience also change, because this experience arises with the conditions. For example, when we look at here, then our eye is here, our attention, the light, the forms, all things are together, we can have an experience. like this sound. Then when the conditions are together, we can listen in a sound. That sound arises because of conditions. When conditions are together, we can have some kind of experience through our senses. That experience depends on conditions. When conditions are together, we have some kind of experience. When those conditions go away, the experience ceases. That is the nature of the life. That is the thing that we have to understand. Every moment, every day, by practicing these doctrines, we are going to this understanding. Then, if we have this understanding with mindfulness, with awareness, with wisdom, then our spirit is very powerful. We are very strong to face any kind of challenges in our life. Nobody can disturb our peace of mind. If somebody or something can disturb our peace of mind, where is the fault? The fault is in ours. If we are strong with this understanding, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. Then, according to Buddhism, our success completely depends on how much we are ready to face any kind of positive or negative feelings without suffering. If we suffer, it means we have big attachment. If we angry, there also we have attachment. For example, if we like something such as this table, if we have big attachment with this table, when somebody disturbs it, we are angry. What is the cause of anger? The desire. The main cause of anger is desire. Why we have desire? Why we desire? Because of ignorance, because of delusion. When we don't know the reality of this experience, we have big attachment. If we have big attachment, when those things change or disturbed by a person, we are angry. The main cause, the main root of all kind of defilements is delusion or ignorance. What is the delusion? What is the ignorance? Ignorance is unknowing the dependent origination, unknowing the impermanence. If we know the impermanence about our experience, we have nothing to attach because we know the reality. Here, according to Buddhism, the very important thing that we have our wisdom or intelligence, panya. Actually, there is a very special word in Pali language, Buddhist language, panya. It is very difficult to translate into another language. Panya. Panya. Panya means, we translate it into English as wisdom or intelligence, but it is not a complete translation. Panya has a very deep meaning. That definition is very deep. But however, we have not enough words in English, but we usually use wisdom or intelligence. What Buddhism says using panya? Panya means our correct understanding, our intelligence, our wisdom. According to Buddhism, panya or wisdom can be divided into two. Little by little, we go forward with good understanding, our panya or wisdom grows up. Our happiness, getting rid of suffering, completely depends on how much we have developed wisdom. Then wisdom is like a dawn. You know dawn, when sun rises from east, we can see the world when darkness goes away. The panya or wisdom also like that. When we have wisdom in our life, our all darknesses inside go away. Our misunderstanding goes away as much as we develop panya or wisdom. The Buddhism always emphasized the importance of practicing panya or wisdom. One time Buddha explained panya or wisdom as a light, as a sunlight. Sometimes Buddhism explains panya or wisdom as a very valuable gem, priceless gem. Sometimes it says panya, the wisdom helps us to purify our mind. There are many synonyms in Pali language for wisdom or panya. Then the first step of wisdom is understanding of karmic law. That is the very first level. If we have understanding about the karmic law, we always try to overcome bad deeds or unwholesome deeds, and we try to develop good deeds or wholesome deeds. What is the nature of the understanding of karmic law? According to Buddhism, according to karmic law, that when we do something with wicked mind, unclear mind, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the bad results because of polluted mind. It means suffering comes to us because of our polluted mind. On the other hand, if we do something with pure mind, such as generosity, morality or meditation or compassion, when we do these kind of things with pure mind, what happens to our life? The happiness, the fruitful results come to our life because of pure mind. As much as we have this understanding, always we try to protect our mind. The thing is that the very important thing that we have in our life is our mind, pure mind. Our pure mind brings us happiness. Our unclear or polluted mind brings us suffering. As much as we are clever to keep our mind pure and calm, it means the happiness comes to us and we are happy. We have no jealousy. We have no ill will. We have no anger. We have no big attachment. We have no desire because of pure mind. It means we are living with happiness. If we have this understanding about the karmic law, always we try to keep our mind pure and calm because we know very well the important thing that we have in our life is mind. Although we have mind, we are not successful. Our success, our proficiency depends on how much we are clever to keep our mind pure and calm. For that, we have to practice mindfulness. When our mind is with mindfulness, it is like a best friend. If our mind is with mindfulness, then our mind is our best friend in our life. How about if we don't have mindfulness? Then our mind is like an enemy who disturb our peace of mind. Then we have to believe that enemy or best friend depends on our thinking or attitude. Then we never like to live with enemies. We always like to live with best friend. Then if we like to live with best friend, then we have to practice mindfulness. What is the mindfulness? Mindfulness means awareness, attention. Where we should practice awareness? Awareness of our body and mind. We have to practice mindfulness in our mind and body. What happens to my body? What happens to my body, mind? If we have full attention, if we have full awareness, what happens to my mind and body at the moment, it means we are living in the present moment. It doesn't sound that we forget past or future. Don't misunderstand. Buddhism never says that forget future or past. When we practice mindfulness, our memory grows up. We can remember anything in our past experience when we practice mindfulness. But we have full attention. As soon as we think something we know very well, now I read my mind, living in the present moment. My mind doesn't run to past. If our mind runs to past, it means we lost our present experience. It means we are living with delusion or ignorance. If we live with ignorance, it means we have lost our happiness. Then, day by day, we try to practice mindfulness. Our success completely depends on how much we are practice mindfulness. How long we live with happiness. If we blame somebody mindfully, it is better than we are laughing with the person without mindfulness. Can you understand? When you blame somebody mindfully, it is better than you are laughing with the person without mindfulness. Although you blame a person mindfully, you don't go to the extremes. You blame him or her kindly. You hope to correct him or her. That is why you blame him. You blame that person not with anger. You blame him or her kindly, because you have mindfulness. Then, day by day, when we practice Buddha's message, there is a very special discourse. I think I have sent you that sutta one day. Here there is another extra copy. That Abhijñā Sutta. In that Abhijñā Sutta, it says the importance of practicing mindfulness. As an intelligent person, if we realize, if we understand, we have to understand only thing, that the five aggregates. Rupa, or forms, Vedana, feelings, Saññā, perceptions, Sankhara, mental formations, and mind. If we are intelligent persons, our intelligence depends on, our education depends on how much we are clever to understand five aggregates. In the current society, the people think that if we know many subjects or languages, we are well educated. It is useful to get a job, good job. But according to Buddhism, Our success depends on how much we have overcome suffering. On that way, learning about 5 aggregates is very important. If we are intelligent persons, the most important thing that we have to learn 5 aggregates. What are the 5 aggregates? 5 aggregates means when we see something, when we hear something, we smell something, we taste something, when we feel something, at that moment, when we have some kind of experience through our senses, when we look at something, when we hear something, at that moment we have that experience because of arising these 5 things. But these 5 things are invisible. We can't see them. We can see only a picture, we can hear some sound, we can smell something, but invisibly these 5 things. There are 5 things. We have to understand these 5 things with mindfully, with wisdom, with intelligence. What is the nature of these 5 things? Rupa forms, Vedana feelings, Sanya perceptions, Sankhara mental formations, and Vijnana mind or consciousness. These 5 things arise together. When we smell something, when we look at something, when we hear something, it means these 5 things arise together with the condition. Not only arising, instantly these 5 things cease. This is the nature of our life. If we have any kind of experience in our life, this is the nature of the life. Here there is a very special thing that you can see, and the present hand out the second page, middle of the second page. Ahutva sambhutang hutva nabhavisati. Not being occurred in the past comes to an occurrence. Being occurred at the present would not come to the future occurrence. This is the very, very important sentence in Buddhism. If we have some kind of experience this moment, we have to believe that this experience doesn't come from the past. This experience doesn't go to the future from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment. This is the nature of our all experience. In Buddha's language it says, ahutva sambhutam hutva nabhavisati. Not being occurred comes to an occurrence. Being occurred would not come to occurrence. But because of ignorance or delusion, we think if we have some kind of experience, this is happening, this is continuous from past, and this continues from the past to future. But every moment, this experience that we get through our senses arises and ceases every moment. If we have this experience, we are new, we are refreshed, we are renewed always. When we have this understanding, we can remember anything as our previous experience. It doesn't sound that we forget our past. We can imagine, we can remember, we can think any kind of experience as our previous experience. It is not a fault. What is the fault? When we think something, if we lost our present experience, if our mind goes to the past without mindfulness, then we suffer or desire. For example, if somebody has blamed you, as soon as you look at that person, what happens to you? Yeah, you are angry. What is the reason? Yeah, you think, not only think, you run to the past, you live in the past experience. But sometimes that person has forgotten it. Now he has no memory that he has blamed you. But still you are thinking, still you are in the past. That is why as soon as you see that person, you are angry. If we have full attention, full awareness or mindfulness, when we think about that, now I am in the present moment, now my mind, I read my mind, you can remember it, but you can't be angry. You are not angry because of mindfulness. That is why Buddhism always emphasizes the importance of practicing mindfulness. Then, when little by little, when we practice mindfulness, one day, in the future, we will be living completely in the present experience. Now, this moment also, little by little, at the very beginning, we can practice at 1 minute for a day. Living with full attention, full awareness, sitting in a bench, in your garden, thinking about your breathing in and out, try to live in the present moment. When some thoughts come to your mind, you think, now these thoughts come to my mind. You can imagine it, no problem. As soon as some kind of ideas come to your mind, we should be clever to understand, now these kind of ideas come to my mind. Then suddenly, we should understand it as impermanent. Then it goes away. Then again we practice living in the present moment. Again and again we can practice this way. It sounds that we are on the path of liberation. We are path on the freedom. We are path on the purification. Even though you are in a very comfortable house or room, if you think your past experience unconsciously without wisdom, with ignorance, then you have no benefits of your comfortable room or house. Because you can't see the environment, because your mind lives in the past. Although you live in under a tree, if you have full attention or awareness in the present moment, then you can see the beauty of the environment. It doesn't sound you forget to a past or future. You have good memory, but you have full attention, awareness or mindfulness. Then here, in that Abhidhamma Sutta, Buddha said that Buddha explained the importance of learning something. As an intelligent person, we have to learn the highest thing, the highest education in Buddhism, that learning about 5 aggregates. If we have full understanding about 5 aggregates, we know very well, every moment, if something happens in the world, if I have some kind of experience about anything, about our education, about our children, about our husband, wives, about our jobs, education, anything that we think in our life, it means the 5 aggregates arise at the moment with the conditions. Yes?
Could you explain the difference a little bit about perception, mental formation, and consciousness? They're similar, but...
Yeah, actually, everything has a very special meaning. The perception means as soon as we look at something, we have some kind of experience as a shadow. We have no full understanding. For example, when you look at somewhere, then the vehicle goes past. You have some kind of shadow. It's not a complete idea.
Impression.
Yeah, impression or something that not full understanding as a shadow. Not only forms but sounds, smell, anything that we get through our senses. That is the primary understanding, identification. But it is not a complete identification. Vedana means feelings. Feelings means we have physical and mental feelings, good or bad. And feelings, perception, and mental formations. Mental formation, when we go to the mental formations, we have more identification, we have more understanding. Then we can identify something. Then sanya, in the sanya level, in the perception level, we have no clear idea. You know, when some babies, when they cry, there is something in the air, some flowers or something, they are going here and there. They have some kind of shadow or idea. That is like a perception. Then, when you grow up, as a mom, you have idea about the flowers or some instruments upper of that baby. That is a good understanding. It is like mental formation. The interesting thing is, these 5 things arise and cease together. We can divide them. Those 5 things cannot be divided. It is very instant. Suddenly those 5 things arise. It is very fast. We have to identify, we have to classify those 5 things mentally. Physically, never we can divide. But in deep level, in everything is these 5 things. Forms means not only the material things, the sound also forms. The smell also forms. There are 6 things through our senses. Vedana means feelings. We have good or bad feelings through our senses. And sanya or perception means the very primary level understanding. Mental formations is, it is some kind of deep level understanding. Vijnana means, consciousness means, it's like an instrument which helps to other things. Then mind and mental formations are together. Mind is pure, but mental formations, the ideas, it should be good or bad. Then mind, usually mind is pure, like water. You know water, naturally water is pure. But when something is together with water, it may be good or bad. Our mind also like that. But mind always with mental formations. It cannot be divided. By practicing these kind of teachings, we try to avoid the negative ideas, negative mental formations. And for that there is a path. First of all, we may have knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Buddha explained the importance of knowledge. Knowledge is the very first qualification that we have when we go to this path. Before we practice this path, first of all, we may have clear knowledge from beginning to end, what we practice. What are the signs in the path? What are the things that we pass when we practice this path? It is very important, the knowledge. Not only knowledge, but we have reflect on it again and again. Reflection. Reflection means, according to knowledge, we have to think again and again. Not only we are in the temple, but every moment in our day-to-day life, from beginning to end of the day, from beginning to morning to night. Every moment, if we are clever to think about this knowledge, If we are clever to reflect on this knowledge again and again, then that knowledge is going to be permanent in our life. Although we have knowledge, if we have no mindfulness, if we don't practice it, if we don't reflect on it, our knowledge is useless. Therefore, reflecting also very important with knowledge. Without knowledge, we have nothing to practice. We have nothing to reflect. Therefore, knowledge is very important, but knowledge is not enough. Knowledge is not enough. Knowledge is very, very important. But, there are some persons who have doctorate in Buddhism, but sometimes they don't practice even 5 precepts. They have no mindfulness. Therefore, they can't overcome suffering. Although they are well educated, although they are scholars in Buddhism, they are angry and they are jealous. They are jealousy because of no practicing, no reflection. On the other hand, we have to practice it. How do we practice it? Practicing samatha and vipassana, practicing mindfulness and insight meditation. In that discourse, Abhiññā Sutta, it says, as an intelligent person, the important thing that we have to study, we have to learn 5 aggregates. The second thing, as an intelligent person, we have to avoid, we have to get rid of only 2. That are ignorance and big attachment. As much as we have understanding about the impermanence of 5 aggregates, we are ready to overcome, we are ready to get rid of ignorance and big attachment. The desire to live alone in the samsaric journey. The third thing, as an intelligent person, we have to practice only 2. What they are? Mindfulness and wisdom. Or concentration meditation and insight meditation. Those both things only that we have to practice in our life. We don't have to do a lot of things. Buddhism says we have to practice only 2. We have to practice only 2. What they are? Practicing mindfulness or concentration or tranquility, and practicing insight meditation or vipassana meditation, wisdom meditation. Then, on the other hand, if we are on this path, we can achieve both results, that vijja, vimukti, knowledge and liberation. If we practice mindfulness and wisdom, we have bonus, we have results, benefits as the result of practicing this kind of doctrines, that knowledge and wisdom or freedom come to us because of practicing this path. That sutta was so very important. And however, we are talking about the 3 characteristics, that what they are: anicca or impermanence, and dukkha or unsatisfactoriness, and anatta, egolessness, selflessness or non-self. They are synonyms. Same words. What is the impermanence that Buddhism says?
When things happen, the second thing happen again is different.
Very good. Very good. Mostly we can say the people who are in the world, when we ask them what is difference, what is impermanence, they say the changing. But changing can be understood easily. Everybody can understand the changing. For example, when we have several photos in our life, we can understand little by little our body is changing. When we reflect on our mind, we can understand our mind is changing. When you keep some flower here, in the morning it is very pleasant, in the evening it has no appearance. You can understand the changing. But impermanence is different from changing. What is the impermanence that Buddhism says? When conditions are together, there is a sound or form or something through our senses. When conditions are away, then that experience ceases. When we compare this experience, there is a very, very important thing that Buddhism says, as I mentioned before, ahutva sambutam hutva nabhavisati. Not being occurred comes to an occurrence. Being occurred would not come to occurrence. It is very deep concept. But however, try to understand this concept. Again and again read it. Again and again reflect on it. That is the very, very important idea that we have to listen into it as the result of our previous merits. Believe it. You believe it. We are listening these things because of our previous wishes. We have done a lot of meritorious deeds to listening to this message. There are a lot of people in the world, they have no chance to listen to this message. That is why they are not here. Although some people have a lot of money, although they are well educated, so very few people have to have this chance to listen to this message. It is very rare. It is a very rare chance. If we have this knowledge, actually we have overcome suffering a lot. If we have this understanding, we try to be permanent with this understanding. Although everything is impermanent, we try to be permanent with this understanding. As much as we are permanent with this knowledge, it means we have overcome suffering. We live with real happiness. Now, although we have a lot of money or some comfortable things in our life, we have no chance to live these things because of no mindfulness. We always try to live in past or future. We have lost the living in the present moment. Our success, our happiness depends on how much we are clever to live in the present moment. That is very important. For that, we have to practice mindfulness again and again. Buddha explained the importance of practicing mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to get rid of suffering. Mindfulness is the only way to be purified. Mindfulness is the only way to get rid of all kind of problems in our life. In Buddha's period, there were some persons who lost their all relatives, such as, Padachara, young lady. She lost his parents, his husband, her children, all things. And she lost her all things. He lost all things. He was so upset. Then he ran to Buddha. And Buddha explained the nature of the life, and finally she ordained and she attained Nibbana, attained enlightenment. And after she enlightened, she overcome suffering. Although she lost her all things, he could live with happiness. Because we mostly live in the past. When we live in past experience, it means we have lost our experience in the present moment. We live with the past experience. We can remember anything about your husband, about our children. We can think about anything. It is not fault. The fault is when we remember something in past. If our mind runs to the past, Without mindfulness, then we lost our present experience. Then we live with that previous experience. Then we suffer or we desire. If we have mindfulness, we can remember anything. Memory is not the fault. Memory is not the fault. The fault is loose in our mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, we are completely overcome suffering at that moment. Gradually, we have to increase the time that we practice mindfulness. That is a very important thing. Here, according to Buddhism, little by little, when we practice mindfulness and wisdom, at the very beginning, we have to practice some kind of meditation techniques, such as, breathing meditation, loving kind meditation. Little by little, when we practice, be clever to live in the present moment. We think about the loving kindness. We think about the breathing. It helps us to live in the present moment, calm and quiet for a long time. Then our mind doesn't go here and there. We are clever to keep our mind with a particular wholesome object. Then we develop the duration that we live with concentration, tranquility. Then with concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing. Then little by little, our mind is going to be permanent with this understanding. Then, as soon as we remember something we know very well, now I remember past or future. As soon as we look at in this moment, you know very well, this experience arises this moment. According to Buddhism, there are both truths, conventional truth and ultimate truth. According to conventional truth, before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we will die, the world remains. According to conventional truth, Buddhism does not reject this truth. Buddhism accepts that truth. Buddhism respects to that truth. But it is not the real truth. What is the real truth? What is the ultimate truth that Buddhism says? The world arises and ceases this moment. This picture lives in this moment when my eyes open. This sound alive when this sound starts and when my ears are open. This sound doesn't come to present from the past. This sound doesn't go to the future from the present. At the moment it arises and ceases. Our whole experience also like that, not difference. But because of ignorance, because of no mindfulness, as soon as we look at something, we combine it with our previous experience. That is the cause of suffering. That is the reason of suffering. That is the misconception which disturbs our peace of mind. All Buddhist doctrines focus on to get rid of this misconception. Then it doesn't sound that we don't do our duties. Actually, we know very well, all world, every person do their activities with the conventional truth. We respect it. If we study, we go to the school. If we do a job, we go to workplace. If we are children, we do our duties and responsibilities in the name of our children. We live with them. We laugh with them. We talk with them. And we work with them. But we work with conventional truth. We think with ultimate truth. That is the difference. When we have very little children, when they play, we also go there. We play with them. But our attitude and their attitude are completely different. We help them, we enjoy with them, we play with them, we help them, but our attitude and their attitude are completely different. With this understanding, we don't run from the society. We don't run from the society, we live in the society. Society is the very important place that we practice this knowledge. When we are in the jungle, we have nothing to practice because all things are very calm and quiet, pleasant. When we are in the society, the people who have no discipline, there is the place that we practice this knowledge. When somebody blames us, if our mind is upset, where is the fault? Fault is ours. Then society is the very important thing that we can practice this knowledge. That is why Buddhism has given a very good example. Studying these doctrines and practicing this knowledge is like preparing weapons for the war, sharpening the weapons. Learning and practicing this knowledge is sharpening weapons for the war, for the battlefield. Where is the war? Where is the battlefield? In the society. When we have negative feelings through our senses, that is the place which is the battlefield. That is the place that we use these sharpened weapons. Now we practice our mind. We sharpen our mind with the spiritual power. Practicing these kind of doctrines, we sharpen our mind. We sharpen our attitude. We sharpen our spiritual power. The place that we live in the society is the place like a battlefield of war where we practice this knowledge. This practicable knowledge we practice in the society where the negative feelings come to our mind. Then, therefore, Buddhism doesn't advise us to go away, run away from the society. Sometimes Buddhism has given some advices to go to very pleasant and quiet places to practice this message. But again, we have to come to the society. The society is the place that we can apply this knowledge. And if we have this knowledge, little by little we try to develop this knowledge with this knowledge, and little by little we are going to be strong. If we are strong with knowledge, it means we can overcome suffering. For that there is a path. First of all, we have to develop our discipline. What is the discipline that Buddhism says? Discipline of our speech and behavior. That is very important. If always we tell rubbish or some things which are useless, it is very difficult to concentrate our mind. As much as we have this understanding, we try to control our speech. That is very important. Before we control our activities, we try to control our speech. That is very important. The thing is that mostly we do bad deeds from our speech. Therefore, as much as we have right view, good understanding, correct view, we try to control our speech, the discipline of our speech and our behavior. It is very important when we go on this path. And with good discipline, we try to keep our mind with positive ideas, positive feelings in our mind. We practice some kind of meditation techniques such as loving kind meditation, reflecting Buddha's qualities meditation, and breathing meditation. Those are the things which are very useful to concentrate our mind. Day by day, we try to increase the time that we practice meditation. Not only sit in meditation, but when we drive, we reflect on some kind of meditation technique, such as loving kind meditation. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May all people who are around me, who are driving around me, all of them be well, happy and peaceful. All of them, my close relatives and friends in previous births, all of them help me for this birth, for my successful life. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Then you have no anger. Then you have no suffering. When somebody suddenly come to your lane, you have no anger because your mind is very friendly. Always you give a chance to come to some person to your lane. And always you do a space in front of your vehicle. Then these are the places that we practice this knowledge. This is a very practicable teaching. There are several religions in the world. Among them, the doctrines that Buddhism says, we can apply these things in this life. And also we can see the result in this life, not hereafter, not next birth. All other religions experience their results after death, next birth. But the interesting thing in Buddhism is we will have the results not only hereafter, but in this short life itself. That's the very important thing. And with the discipline, if we can practice this Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration, this is the path of Eightfold Path, Noble Eightfold Path. With the practicing, as the result of practicing this path, we are ready to understand the real nature of the world, the three characteristics. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya passati. All conditions, things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path of purification. The second stanza, Sabbe sankhara dukkhati yada panyaya passati atani bindati dukkhe samaggo visuddhya. All conditions are unsatisfactory. When one sees this with wisdom or intelligence, one turns away from suffering. This is the path of purification. Sabbe dhamma anattati yada panyaya passati. All things are not self. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path of purification. There are three advices here. The first thing is knowing impermanence. The second one is knowing unsatisfactoriness. And third one is no soul or egolessness. Egolessness means we have nothing to control in our control. For example, in our body. Sometimes we think that we can control our body, but gradually it is going to old age. It is subject to be sick. It is subject to die. It is subject to old age. We can control it. The reason is that non-self. If we have powerful ego or self, we had a chance to control it. We have to control it because of no self. We can control it. Every moment it changes. Every moment it goes to worst. Whether we like or not, that is the situation. But even though this is going to die or late, we can control our mind. That is the interesting thing. Even though we can control our physical body, we have an ability to control our body more than 15%. But we have the ability to control our mind 100%. And if we can completely control our mind, even though we are sick, even though we are very old age, even though we are very weak physically, but mentally we are very strong. Buddha explained one day, now I am very old. Even though I am very old, now I am at the age of 80, Buddha explained, even though I am very old, it is not a problem for me. Even though 4 persons sitting in 4 directions, if they ask question at once, about 100 years, even though I am weak physically, I can answer them. There are 4 persons in 4 directions. They ask questions at once. Not only 1 or several years, 100 years. Although they ask 100 years questions from me, I can answer them once. Even though I am weak physically, I am strong mentally. That is the difference of practicing this kind of doctrines. Then, if we can control our mind completely, I can face some problems which we face physically. We are not worried. When our body is going to old age, if we are strong spiritually, that's the different thing. Day by day, the nature of our body is going to old age. That is why we have to find a spiritual teacher. One day Buddha said, why do we find a spiritual teacher? Why do we need to find a spiritual teacher's teachings? There are 3 reasons. One of them is old age. Old age. We are going to old age. The second one is death. We are subject to die. Next one is we will be reborn. These are the reasons that we have to find a spiritual teacher and we have to practice that spiritual teacher's teachings. If we can live long, if we can live ever, we don't need a spiritual teacher or teaching. Our body gradually going to old age. Our body gradually going to sicknesses. That is why before that situation, we have to practice this knowledge. We have to be strong our mind with spiritual power. When we face these problems, if we are very strong with the spiritual power, then we can face those problems without fear, without tears, without suffering, without lamentations. Therefore, if we have this understanding about the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and egolessness, always we think about these things, then nobody can disturb our peace of mind. Nobody can bring suffering to our life. Always we are very strong. In one side we have to earn some money to live this society. We need money. Bodhisattva never neglect it. We have to earn something in the society, but money is not enough to overcome suffering. We have to practice this kind of teachings in our life. We have to be strong with our mind. That is why Buddhism always advises us to listen to this message. And this message doesn't belong to even Buddha. The special thing. This is the world reality. Buddha explained whether Buddha appeared or not in the world, this reality is ever. We respect to the Buddha because he discovered this message by himself. And he explained this message to the world kindly. That is why we respect him. But this message doesn't belong even him. Because this is the world truth. This is the world truth. Buddha explained, if you respect me, it doesn't need to worship me. If you respect me, you listen to this message, you practice this message, and you see the result from your life. Practicing this message. That is the real way, that is the true way that you reflect, that you respect me. Not only worshiping me, not only offering something. We do something for our purification, for mental peace of mind. But it doesn't need to Buddha. Buddha accepted us from us to practice this message and achieve the results in this life before death. If we can practice this message, we are the very fortunate people in the world because we can overcome suffering. We know the reason of suffering. We know the way how do we overcome suffering. Then we are so lucky. Have any questions? You can ask. Okay. You can read this article later, and I think when you read more, you can improve knowledge. That is very important. Even though you can come to the class, try to read the article. Weekly, I prepare handouts and I email you, and it is very important for your understanding. Okay, now we are going to finish our weekly Dhamma program. Now the time to transfer the merits to our beloved relatives. We have a lot of our relatives who are departed. If they want some merits from us, may they receive this medicine, may they achieve good life. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our beloved departed relatives. Kindly recite in the stanza. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may divine persons also receive these merits. May they keep their eye on you too. May they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no problems come to you. May all of you attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca nindukkhā, bhayam pantā ca nibbhayā, sokam pantā ca nissokā, hantu sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you.